Hello, welcome to the Knitting Project. My name is Sharon and I'm coming to you from Surrey in the UK, where I live with my family and my animals. Today is Saturday the 25th of January 2025 and this is episode 176. Welcome if you are a new viewer, welcome back if you're a returning viewer. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is my podcast all about my crafty week, and I have got a little bit this week because I have a cold, so I'm very husky. There may be a lot of chops where I have to start coughing because I have no choice, which is very annoying, but you know, we're going with it. I did debate leaving it this week, but in actual fact, I have got quite a lot to show you. And I think if I leave it this week, next week's is going to be even longer. So let's just do it. So please, I'm really puffy. I mean, it's not like I've got a slim face to start with, but yeah, it's all puffy around here. So lots of makeup on today. And as you can hear, I'm a little bit nasally. So bear with me. I had all sorts of plans this weekend and I've had to cancel all of them, which is a little bit annoying to say the least. But I can feel it kind of going on my chest. I'm like, I need to rest. Listen to your body. Anyway, the plus side of that is because I've had some enforced downtime, I've actually done some work this week and actually crafted. So let's get into it, shall we? First up, I've got a finished object. I finished my socks. So these are the, are we going to focus? Am I going to need to change the setting on this? There we go. These are the Santa's Day Off colourway from Lay Family Yarn. They are doing a year-long club at the moment called the Secret Santa's Sock Club. And it's a secret colourway each month. The idea is you knit a pair a month to have 12 new pairs of socks for December. So I'm going to put mine away. I've knitted the By the Fireside socks, which is a pattern by Danny George of Little Bobbins, and has this beautiful little cuff on the top. It is supposed to have bobbles with it. I didn't do the bobbles because, quite frankly, I couldn't be bothered. Hold on, I'm just going to change the settings on my camera. Let's try that. Yes, I couldn't be bothered to do the bobbles. So there are bobbles that go on these bits, but I didn't do them. And I also didn't do a contrast heel and toe because I wasn't sure I was going to have enough yarn. I think in hindsight I would have done. Maybe if I make these again during the course of between now and Christmas, I might do that. But for the moment, this is it. They are shorties, but they're not trainer socks. I love them. They're like little pixie boots. I thought they're very appropriate for Christmas. So that's my January pair done. So that's one goal achieved. I think last week I said I'd quite like to get these finished, and I did. So I'm very pleased with that. But then that put me into being able to go back onto my little Advent mini rotation. So I've got quite a few bits and pieces to show you. So it finishes with the West Green Loft yarn socks. But because I'd picked these up and started these before I got to them, I have got the West Green Loft yarn socks to show you. So my problem is I don't know. That's definitely not it because I can see what that is. I don't know what's in what bag. So you have to bear with me. These are my West Green Loft yarn socks. So this is my lovely Bluebell bag from the lovely Sherry Iris. It's going to be Bluebell season before too long. Hopefully before we know it. I've definitely seen some snowdrops out and about, which is so exciting. And my daffodils are up in the garden. I love spring. It's my favourite season. I absolutely adore spring. So in here I have got so this is mini 1 and 2 from my West Green Loft Yarns Advent. Oh, isn't that pretty? I decided that I wanted to make scrappy socks. I've still got Christmas stitch marker on it. I probably should change that. Yeah, I decided I wanted to make scrappy socks with this because the when I was using the yarn, originally I was going to do a cozy memory blanket, but when I was using the yarn, I was like, oh, it just feels like scrappy socks. So this is mini 1 and 2. I have done both. So I've started off with a 2x2 twisted rib, which is my favourite sock cuff. I've also done a little at the beginning there. I have knit around before I went into the rib. I haven't worn this yet, so I don't know how well it wears, but it does give a very neat edge to your socks. And yeah, I've done both of the cuffs. I use, as you can see, lots of needles. I use two 2.5mm circular needles to knit my socks, so I knit on 2 circulars, and I've done a 60 stitch count, and these are just my standard vanilla socks but done in scrappy form, and I'm doing 8 rows for each colour. I think using 8 rows for each colour I get 12 minis for my size foot, so if that's the case I can do a second pair. If it's not, then I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of the yarn, and we will worry about that when we get to mini number 12. But yes, I've got some left over of each. Not sure what I'm doing with my leftovers yet, but I have got little nuggets left over. I think this was a 10 milligram? Oh dear, a 10 gram mini. I think I can see where that went. Yeah, 10 gram mini, and isn't that beautiful? And that's the next colour. So really enjoyed those, and that was the end of the rotation. So the West Green Loft yarn socks end it, but because I started those other socks in between, they started it this time round. So that's mini 2. So all the rest are going into mini 3. With the exception of one project, which is my heart and cowl, which I had to stripe minis 1 and 2 together. So I won't show you that now because you've seen it, but that's sorry, I had to stripe minis 2 and 3 together. Misspoke there. I'm not going to show you that now because you've seen it, but that's now on mini 3. So when I go into the mini 4s, I will put that back into the rotation, but this time it's got missed out. So next, after I did that, I'm hoping I've got that written down somewhere. Did I write that down in here? I don't think I have yet, have I? No, because that would be sensible. Next was the Homespun House socks, which are in my Dorothy bag. I know that because the entire advert's in here, so it's a really big, thick, squidgy bag. So this is a Dorothy Wizard of Oz bag. Bag by Donna's Designs. It's a Donna Designs bag. Yeah, this is Donna's Designs bag. So this is from the US. I think it was a collab with Sharon of Knit Style Yarns. And yeah, I just love the bag. I love the bag. And I've got all of the advent in there. I've got, this bag has got my minis that I've used in, and then I've got the socks. So the socks are again strappy socks, exactly the same, 60 stitches, 2.5mm needles, and a 2x2 twisted rib. And I've done mini 1 and 2. I am doing this in the order with which I open the advent, so I'm not colour managing this at all. This is going to be the order of the advent, and again I've got 8 rows of each colour. So I've got mini 1, 2 and 3. I need to get some stitch markers for these ones. For some reason I haven't got stitch markers on them, and I have done both. So I've got chalgoo needles on that one and licky needles on that one. I very much enjoyed those. It's very tempting each time I'd pick one of these out just to carry on that particular project, and part of me is like, well, you're not going to have any finished objects now for ages. But then that said, I've got other things that I'm sprinkling in between that I am finishing, so we'll go with it. I might get bored. By Easter I will probably be on my spring projects, and none of this will be in rotation, but let's hope I stick with this, because otherwise that's a lot of yarn I won't have knit. And I've already got a huge great box of whips back there, the big box whips of shame, but that's going to be a snippets podcast episode at some point. So yes, so I finished those, mini 3 of those, and then I'm wrapping them back up in their little ball bands, and so I can keep them in order, so I know which order they go in. And obviously I've got loads left, so I'm sure I can do something with the leftovers, which is exciting. I found whilst filling my big box of whip shame, I found my mould scarf that I started last year, and literally all I wanted to do was knit on it. I was like, no, I'm just going to knit on this. I was like, no, you're not. You need to get on with doing the other things. I'm going to try and be a little bit more disciplined this year. My word for the year is restraint. I just don't think it's going to work where knitting is concerned, because I have no restraint where the crafting is concerned at all. Right, so that's those. So next up would be my dotted rays. Let's just have a slurp of coffee. My dotted rays, which is living in a So Sweet Violet bag, who sadly has closed her doors now. I have got a few last little bits I got in her sale before she shut to show you. So this is a swap I did with Jules of So Sweet Violet. We did a advent swap, and they're my little minis. She rolls her balls so beautifully. And then I've got, this is the Dotted Rays, which is a pattern by Stephen West. I am in the middle of the row because that's where it ran out. So that's mini 1, that's mini 2, and this is mini 3. I'm not colour managing this. I am just sticking my hand in and choosing one. If it is too close to the colour before, I will throw it out and choose another one. But this is what I've done. I love this. So it's knit in short rows. You do short row shaping, and it's just so much fun to knit. They grow so quickly because of the short row shaping. And I think my neighbour's got his leaf blower on. It's out the front at the moment, so we'll leave it for a minute and hope he doesn't come around the front and around the back. So yeah, that's how it's looking. It's a kind of, it's like an elongated half moon shawl, if you get me. It's really pretty. I love it. I'm hoping I might keep this one. Although I might not. I might give this one away and keep the other one I've got, which I've very nearly finished. Again, found in the box whip of shame. I've got 2 of them on the go. I have got a Lay Family Yarn one, and I've got a just like mixture of pinks ones. So it's going really well. So yes, that is my dotted rays, and managed to finish that mini. I'm just literally knitting until I run out of them. So I'm putting the mini into the Cozy Memory blanket first, which you'll see in a moment, and then I'm putting what's the remainder into the shawl, and I'll just keep going. I don't know whether I'll be able to use all of the minis or whether the shawl will be too big. Is that a thing? And I probably will need to find, because I think it's an I-cord bind off, I'll probably need to find a full skein to I-cord bind off, because it's, unless a whole mini, unless it's big enough that a whole mini will, unless it's small enough, there we go, that a whole mini will actually do the I-cord bind off just on its own, I might need something bigger, but we will see. But yeah, love that. It's so much fun to knit. It's so, once you've got the pattern down, it's so meditative to knit. It's really nice because it grows quickly because you're doing the short rows, and it's just knitting backwards and forwards. But the interest, and I mean, there is a row where you do like knit 2 togethers and yarn overs. There's a little bit of interest in it, but once you've got the pattern down, you don't need to refer to the pattern. You can just keep going, and I love that. I love it so much because there's enough to keep me interested, but not so much that I have to be reading a pattern every single row. Right, so that's that one. So after the dotted rays is the mitts. Are you the mitts? Are you the mitts? You are the mitts. So this is the Show Us Your Scrap mitts, which is a pattern by Laura, who is the Lonely Knitter, who I got to see at the weekend at Waltham Abbey, which was really exciting. And I'm using my Elderflower Stitches Advent for this one. So this is mini 3, which is that. I think this is going to be a fade. So I think these minis are going to kind of fade into each other. I'm using the pattern from Laura as is. This is how it's hanging out in my Luna bag from Stitched by Mrs. D. I love this bag. It's almost going to be in rotation. It did have a different whip in it, but I've taken that whip out, swapped it for another bag so that I can use this bag now. So that's my lovely cat bag. Can we hear that, I wonder? It's not quite round yet. So these are the mitts. I was there when you last saw that. So that's mini 1, mini 2, and this is mini 3. And I'm following, oh, he's right around the front now. Okay, we'll hold off for a moment. Okay, he's gone back round the front, so it's probably going to be one of those interrupty podcasts. So this is the Show Us Your Scrap mitts. It's a pattern by Laura of the Lonely Knitter and is designed to use scraps, hints in the title. I am doing this exactly as the pattern says. So this was a 1x2 twisted rib. I don't want to give too much away because it is a paid for pattern. So go check it out. It's a really pretty pattern and designed for scraps or advents. Yeah. It's got my little mini in there, mini 3 in there. So I've been going great guns this week. It doesn't take long though, and it's only like 8 rounds. And it's a small stitch count. So that is that. The next up is the Land of Sweets cowl, which is this one. I think that's the last one. So this is the last of the knitting. It's hanging out in a flower fairies bag, which again is a bag by Donna's Designs. I didn't deliberately get all Donna's Design bags out, but it was a case of the bags that were big enough. I wanted bigger bags. So this is the Land of Sweets cowl. It's a pattern by Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade. It's from one of the knit vents, but it is a standalone pattern now. And this is my Giddy Yarns Advent. Again, this was a 10 gram. No millies, just 10. 10 gram. 10 gram advent. So getting little nuggets left over. I might just end up making scrappy socks or something, or it might just go into my scrappy scarf, to be fair. So yeah, this is it. So we've had mini 1, and that's mini 2, and then that was mini 3. So mini 3 has got a little pattern on it. Mini 1 is a rib, mini 2 was just plain, and mini 3 has got a tiny little, there's some pearl bumps in there. I don't know if you can see. There is some pearl bumps in there from time to time. And that I finished in the car last night. So that was my finish for yesterday. And I'm using 3.5mm Chalgu needles. And I think it's 100 stitches. It's a cowl. So it's the Land of Sweets cowl. It's really pretty. Again, I don't know whether I'll keep it or whether I'll use it as a present. I might be getting really ahead of all my Christmas presents at the rate I'm going. But we know what I'm like. Whether I'll still be doing these in a month's time, who knows? So that's it for the knitting. I did, however, do some other bits of crafting. I did manage to get a little bit done on my embroidery. So this is a sewing bag, again from So Sweet Violet. And I am doing the, what's it called? A Visit from St Nicholas embroidery, which has got lots of little bits around it. I'm trying to do one of these a day. I did not do one yesterday. I'm not quite sure why I didn't do one yesterday. I just didn't. But I have done one most of the other days. So it is beginning to look a little bit done. I mean, I've got lots left to do, but these are tiny. So I had some, when I was doing the little lollipop there, I had some white left over in my needle. In fact, I've still got it in there, I think. and I added in some of the little French knots which are sprinkled throughout. Actually, that's not true. I finished it on that one. The white I've got left over is from this little gingerbread man. So, I mean, he's not good, is he? I mean, I think he vaguely looks like a gingerbread man, but I couldn't get his eyes in the right place no matter how hard I tried. And then it began to look scruffy, so I was like, I'm just going to leave it. Not going to pull them out anymore. So I want to add in some more of the French knots around here while I've still got the white threaded. But those weren't part of my like week. But I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there would have been 7, but maybe we'd call the knot 7 then. But it's exciting that I am actually beginning to get this done. I'm really enjoying it. I love the colours in this. I really love the colours. As I said, don't know what I'm going to do with it when it's finished, but let's get it finished and then we worry about that. It'd make a nice wall hanging, wouldn't it, in a hoop? Especially as it's round. Kind of look like a little door wreath. Actually, it would be really nice as a door wreath, wouldn't it? Oh, I might see what I can do with that. But yeah, I did get some of that done, which was very exciting. I need to watch the time. We've got a very poorly dog. Poor Raven has been very unwell since Wednesday, well, Tuesday night. And she's not looking any better today, so we've got another vet's appointment for her, which I'm sure on a Saturday will be a costly vet's appointment, but she needs it, bless her. So we're going to the vet's in literally half an hour. So the other thing I've got is hanging out in my So Cozy Academia tote bag, because there's a lot of elements of this and I wanted to put it all in one place, so it's in a tote bag. And this is my quilt of the month, quilt square of the month from Vintage Sewing Box, and as you can see, I've done lots on this as well. So I have worked on this every day again, apart from yesterday. I've put the tree, I've embroidered the trees in, the hedge, I've appliqued the fields in. I went with this kind of lace on here because I thought it looked a bit like snowdrifts, and then I thought that's like a ploughed field almost. So this is now finished, this back is now finished, and my next bit I'll be moving on to the front piece, which is very exciting. There's a lot I need to do to the front bit before you can actually start stitching it. So there's a lot of cutting and things. I'm honest, to be honest, it's terrifying, but hopefully it'll work. But I'm very pleased with this. It's rough and ready, and I've kind of letting myself off the perfection. It doesn't have to be perfect, a bit like that gingerbread man. Just get these things done, and I mean, my house is terrible. It looks like a house from the distance, just don't look at it close up. But it's more, I want just to get these things done, because the more you do these things, the better you get at them. And I was listening to myself saying this when I was spinning, when I was saying that the best thing to do with spinning is just to have a go and don't worry about the end result. And I was like, I really need to take that advice for other areas of my craft. Embroidery, doing this. And I was like, just do it. You know, hopefully by the time I get to month 12, it'll be looking like a lot better than month 1. Who knows? It might not. I may have peaked. This might be the pinnacle of my sewing. Who knows? But I'm happy with it. From a distance, it looks okay. Close up, not so much. I'm really pleased with my trees. My trees came out really well. They are just loads of French knots. But yeah, my trees I'm really pleased with. I used a variegated embroidery thread, and I think that worked really well. I'm going for a winter scene here. It's January, so I'm going for snowy. That's a moon, not a sun, by the way, which is why it's sort of a yellowy colour. But again, I'm actually really pleased with the moon. Number one, it's round, so I used a satin stitch on my moon, and it's really even. So, you know, the elements of it I'm really pleased with. I'm quite pleased with how neat my sewing is around my applique. It's just the house. The house is dreadful. But again, we all know that cutting out is not my skill. Maybe I need to go to cutting out lessons. I don't know. But yeah. So I'm pleased with that. I'm pleased how it looks. I'm pleased how it came out. I am about to move on to the front, and I am terrified. So, but I was terrified of the back, and that worked. There's a tutorial, by the way. I've got the tutorial. It's not like I'm doing this all on my own. Emma, hold your hand every step of the way. It's just my hand is not so great at stitching. But I'm getting there. I'm excited about it, I think you can guess. So in unearthing these two, I've just realised I haven't showed you my cozy memory blanket. So let's get on with that one, which is hanging out in my lovely seaside bag from Busy Pottering, which I adore. And the lovely Anne commented last week on it, and I'm just like, yep, it's still my favourite bag. There's something about this bag, I don't know what it is, and I love it. So this is my cozy memory blanket. I am using 2.5mm licky needles. It's not a long cord. Normally I would use my signature needles I've got, but they are in a different cozy memory blanket, although I think I did find that. I think that might be in the big box of whip shame back there. So let's have a quick wander through this now so you can see it. It is, so all the ones with stitch markers are ones that I have done since I last saw you. So we've got Santa socks, elderflower stitches, Land of Sweets, dotted rays, Homespun House, West Green Loft yarns, and that was the mini from the Santa socks. So yeah, it's increasing. It's slowly growing. I'm enjoying putting a mini in this each time I start a new mini. They're only 18 by 18, so they don't take long at all. It probably take me about 20 minutes to do a square. So it doesn't take much off of my knitting with the mini time. And because they're all small projects anyway, actually knitting with the minis is not taking that long at all. I would make more progress if I wasn't knitting a pair of socks a month in between. That is a decision that I am still debating. I have bought February's. I would like to carry on. I'm going to see how February goes, because obviously February is a much shorter month. I mean, how is there still like another week of January? I was looking at the calendar. I was like, oh, goodness me. January just doesn't want to end, does it? But I'm going to see how I go as to whether I can put up with the pressure. Because I want to enjoy it. And if I find that knitting the socks is not enjoyable, then I probably will stop. But we'll see. We'll see. That's the one thing I'm a bit shaky on. I want to keep up with my dishcloths, and thank you to everybody who is joining in on those. I am looking forward to doing my February one. And obviously I've got my February socks. So I think I'll probably cast my February dishcloth on the 1st of Feb. Get that done and then cast the socks on. And then I might, depending on how I feel about it, try and work out how many rows of the socks I have to do a day to get them finished by the end of February, and like add them into the rotation. So I do those rows a day first and then go into the minis, because I think that might make it more fun. As you can tell, I'm very good at trying to fool my brain. And I am a complete squirrel, so having lots of different little projects suits me a lot better than just slogging away on one big project. That said, I found both my Vintersole and my sorrel when I was having the clear out, and both of them I'm like, oh, I want the finished object, so I need to knit it. So maybe I need to put both of those into the rotation as well each day, and at least do one row on them. I mean, I still think it'll take forever, but it's one row less each day, isn't it? So I need to think carefully about what I want to do going forward. I might try next week. I might just try and see what it's like, but I haven't got the socks, so I won't be starting my socks till the 1st of Feb, so it's not really a fair trial. So I think I might just mop up with the minis between now and the 31st, and then start it all on the 1st of February and see how we go. But yes, that's my cozy memory blanket. I need to leave this here for now because we do need to go to the vets. I have got some purchases. I have some incoming mail, and I have my bits from the Waltham Abbey wool show. So I'm going to go take little Raven to the vets now, and I will be back after that, which will be like a second for you. It'll be a little while for me. Okay, it's a couple of hours later. We've had Raven to the vets. She's got a virus, bless her. She's a little bit poorly, but they've given her an anti-sickness injection, and we've got some bland food for her. So fingers crossed that will put her on the road to recovery. So as it's a bit later, the sun's come round, so I am glowing nicely. But I've only got my kind of this week's incoming to go through, so I'm just going to do that quickly now. It's the day has marched on, so I really want to get this completed so I can get it edited, because I really want this to go up tomorrow. It is the only downside with recording on a Saturday, is I do not have any leeway with getting it finished. It has to be done. Right, so in no particular order, maybe it's a little bit of an order. So some mail. I got another one of these magic knot balls from Ruffles Crochet Crafts at Etsy.com. There we go. Because I thought one of them isn't enough, I probably need two. So I got a second one. Really looking forward to using that. Planning on making a triangular shawl probably with it. Not sure. It for the moment is going to go in stash, but I know I needed two to be able to do anything of any size. I got a few last bits from So Sweet Violet. So I got one of her little tins with just some bulb stitch markers in, rose gold ones, which I really like for if you need to mark up for lace knitting. I got some little progress keepers. So I got a butterfly. Hold on, where's my square? There's my square. There we go. Butterfly, a bunny, that's cute. You can tell I'm going into my spring, can't you? A little hummingbird. This is so amazing. I love this little hummingbird. This one you've seen before, but because these are actual stitch markers as opposed to progress keepers, I really wanted to add to my stitch marker collection too, which are lovely. Got little crystal jewels on them. Jill's very kindly sent me one of her pins. I have already got one. I've got a pin pennant there, but I shall put that on a bag. Then I just got some ribbon. So in this bag I've got 4 different colours. So I've got green, red, velvet, pink. These are velvet ribbon, pink and lavender. Which I use these a lot when I'm making my air dry clay decorations, which was a snippet last year, if you're wondering about them. If you look back on my snippets, there should be one from last year. And then this one is just the red and the green, which obviously Christmas. They will come into their own, especially if I make some more clay gift tags, which I really like. I'm running out of them actually, so I do need to make some more. I just find it a bit of a palaver to set it up. I like making the actual tags, But it does take me a little while to get it all set up. I also bought some Pilot erasable pens for my, well, it was for my quilt in actual fact. I drew the chimneys on with these, so that's why it's open. I also bought some saline glue pens, but that is in my quilt because, again, I needed it. I stuck my the bits I appliqued on, I stuck on with the saline glue before I appliqued them on, so it didn't move around. So now we're on to what I got at Waltham Abbey. Hold on, stop that. So I went to the Waltham Abbey Wool Show at the weekend. Thank you for those of you that said hi. I got to see some lovely friends, got to squish some lovely yarn, got to buy some lovely yarn. One thing I really want to make myself is some Scandinavian style mitts. I have made them for other people in quite a few now actually, but I haven't made any for myself. I have got a pair that are kind of that style but not, which I love and I wear a lot, but I really wanted some Scandinavian colourwork mittens, and I wanted some woolly wool for it. So I bought from Folk Yarn Studio, my lovely friend Laura, who is the Lonely Knitter. I got a couple of folk yarn. So I have got Alton Broad, which is the blue, and these are both in DK because I figured I might as well make it slightly more easier on myself and actually get slightly thicker yarn so that it doesn't take quite so long. So I got Alton Broad and I got Holcomb. So these are both a DK. That's sort of a cream, and then that's a petrol blue. Really like them, so I'm looking forward to have a look and see what mitten patterns I've got. I've got a couple of collections by Skein Deer Knits, so I need to have a look and see whether any of those are DK patterns. I also got a few other bits and pieces in here. So to start with, I got a string of Scotty dogs, which I'm going to put up in here. It's going to hang on my curtain rail, and I think it's called All Things Sheep, something like that. I was going to get a string of sheep, but these were a special sale price. I was like, oh, I really like those. I'm very torn as to whether I'm going to keep them or whether I'm going to let Kate have them for Ira, because in Ira's nursery, because Ira loves dogs so much. But I think she'd actually want to play with them at the moment, and they're not really a toy, so maybe I'll look after them for a few years, and then when she's a bit older she can have them. But yes, they're very cute, very cute. So they're going to hang up from my curtain rail, probably over there. And then I got some Chalgoo 2.5mm needles, because if you remember I said to you the one thing I needed to get was some needles, so I got some 2.5mm needles. And I got from Romney Wool, I got a little sheep fridge magnet, which is really cute. I really like him. So sweet, which I'm going to probably attach to my overhead light. And then I got a couple of skeins of yarn from James Makes Yarns. So I got, what's this one called? Fizzy Bottles, which I think is going to microscribe. It's really cute. I love it. And then I also got the colour that's out at the moment, Beanie Babies, which I nearly bought in a DK to make DK socks, and I was like, actually they're going to be summer socks, aren't they? Those colours just scream summer socks. I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to make them in my insane making plans I have at the moment, but so pretty. They will make perfect summer socks at some point. So there were my purchases. I was quite restrained. So I had a purpose. So purpose purchase. I did intend to buy these as well. Well, not the dogs. I intended to buy sheep, but dogs will do. I wanted a skein of James Makes Yarn, but I came home with two. So one of these is the extra purchase, and that was just a whim purchase because who can resist a little fridge magnet sheep? So yes, I was quite restrained. So I basically spent my Christmas money, which was nice. I kind of kept within budget, which is not like me at all, but I'm really glad I did. I'm very proud of myself now. So that's it from me. Next week, I'm hoping to get some more progress on my minis, on my mini rotation. Have I got any targets for next week? Don't think I have, actually. Oh, actually, my one target is going to be to start the second, which is the front of the quilt, because I'm feeling slightly apprehensive about that because there's a lot of cutting involved, and as we know, my cutting skills are not great. So my target is to start that. So as long as I've got it started, it doesn't matter if I've not done a little bit on it each day, but I think it's going to take me a couple of days to take the courage to cut it. So as long as I've started it, that's going to be the main thing, I think. But yeah, so I think we'll aim for that and aim to carry on with the embroidery and doing a little bit of that each day. I think my biggest aim at the moment will be to actually get this podcast edited. That'd be a good start. I want to start my snippets up again as well, twice a week, and that did not happen this week because I was really not well for the Wednesday and anything for today. I'm going to have a look and see what I've got on my camera from Waltham Abbey, because I did take some footage, and maybe do a snippet on Wednesday of Waltham Abbey and anything kind of prior to that is on that I've recorded that I haven't released yet. And then I'm hoping for next Saturday's one, so not today, a week today's, which I think is the 1st of Feb, to be a little tutorial on how I do my cozy memory blanket, because I've got my overhead is just there, and I'm doing cozy memory blanket squares all the time at the moment. So I thought I might do like a little, tutorial is not the word because it's not going to be a tutorial, but just a little, I'll tell you how I do mine. I'll just show you how I do mine. So that will be hopefully next Saturday. So next Wednesday will be the kind of catch-up vlog of all the footage that I've done that I haven't released. And then next Saturday will be the cozy memory, I'm hoping, theoretically. And then I've had a request to do seriously, why am I editing out a yawn at 1 o'clock in the afternoon? I've had a request to show how I do my garter stitch heel turn, which I'm happy to do, but I need to wait until I've got to that stage in the sock. So when I'm at that stage in the sock, I will do that one. I'll show you how to do that. Yeah. I'm really pleased to have got this episode out. I hope you've enjoyed it. All that being said, I hope you're all okay wherever you are. Take care, and I will hopefully see you next week.